I'm amazed, frankly, that each and every day it seems like I get stories from scientists or read scientific papers about animal emotions. There's very few skeptics left. I mean, I think some of the skeptics are just making their living, if you will, being skeptics, and they're not buying into new data. But anyone who's skeptical can't ignore the fact that information on animal emotions is being published in the best scientific journals in the world. That wasn't happening even 10 years ago. So in terms of credibility of the study of animal emotions underlying very deep relationships between members of different species, the science is there. When you hear about these relationships, and they're credible and people have actually seen them, they tell me, as someone who studies animal emotions, about how rich and deep the emotions are and how deep they are in the brain. Across mammals, for example, that we share these structures in the limbic system, the amygdala, an old part of the brain. It's there. I'm learning more and more about the emotional lives of animals from hardcore scientific research and good stories. And as the stories accumulate, I use them to understand the science. So sometimes people say, oh, they're just being anthropomorphic, these storytellers. And I go, they're being what? It's very important to understand that if you really believe in Charles Darwin, and if you believe in what he called evolutionary continuity, it's not so fancy. Darwin was saying that the differences among species are shades of gray, not black and white. And so the bumper sticker for Charles Darwin's evolutionary continuity is, if we have something, other animals, have it too. So we're not inserting something human into animals that they don't have. And that's why I find these anthropomorphism criticisms to be totally baseless. Because good biology tells you that if we have joy and we have grief, other animals have joy and other animals have grief. So the anthropomorphism card, I think, is being used to stymie research and to say that these stories from caregivers and others don't have any credibility. On the other hand, I don't want to say that anything counts. So the way I interpret animal emotions would be, I do yield to good science and good scientific journals by good researchers. I also have to listen to the stories carefully. So for example, I saw a magpie funeral and I wrote about it. The minute I published it, and to date, I've had probably 100 emails of people describing very similar situations. I put credibility in those stories, not because I saw it, but the mass of stories. And now I want to go learn more about them. And I expect some researcher will go out and do more detailed studies. So, it's like anything else. You just have to sort of filter the quality and the quantity. But when I get a lot of stories that have a very common theme, as a scientist, I really want to know more about them. And I always remind people through physics and chemistry that a lot of science is motivated by stories of the universe.